Just to give you a quick once more about our Canvas page and our pre-labs and where to find all that. Again, if you go to our Canvas page, which we're looking at right here, um, you go to the module section. Remember that the Canvas site is broken up into basically two parts. Up here on top, as you can see, is our lecture material stuff. So everything underneath here is our lecture material. One note here is again our registration links for both the OWL online homework, which is our textbook homework, and then again, this is for our pre-lab questions. Now, to find the lab stuff, again, you want to scroll through all of the lecture material, and you're going to eventually come to a header that is for lab, and right here. Now, this header also describes the different types of pre-labs, the written pre-lab, what it is, when it is due. This is the online pre-lab through Cengage. This describes the actual lab report. And again, so this little module here does have some important information. Make sure that you do look over. So coming through here, this is the lab safety video, which module, which you were supposed to have completed by the 29th of August, which is the Tuesday here of this week. So if you have not done that, you need to complete it and make sure that it is done. You need to watch again all these videos here and then complete the safety assignment and upload the assignment to this box. You have to watch the first video before the next one will open, and before the next one, before the next one, and then do the safety video there at the end. Scrolling down, this module right here where it says all the lab experiment PDF files. These are the actual experiment files like your lab manual would be. Whichever one you need, you could click on it. For example, this is experiment 3, and you can see this is experiment 3's lab. Again, you can click here to download it and print it, or you can print it from here. But you do need the printed lab brought with you to the lab day, which is Wednesday for us. And this is the pages you will fill out in class when we physically do the experiment. So you do need this printed in a physical version when you come to class. This is also the PDF file like the lab manual that you would read so that you can do the pre-lab assignment. So again, if we go back, every single experiment is here. Remember that we are doing 2 experiments per lab day. So for this first lab that's happening, we'll be doing experiment 2 and experiment 3. So again, you can find experiment 2 and experiment 3. So all these are the individual experiment PDFs. So you could go through each of these and print them out. If you did not buy a lab manual from the bookstore, my understanding is the bookstore now has those in. So if you would rather just buy a pre-printed lab manual, you could get it from the bookstore. Scrolling down after that, here is each week we'll have all the lab activities towards the bottom here. So here's the first week we did where we did activity 1, and that is obviously where you upload it. So we are here in currently week 2, which is Wednesday. This again is where you can find the PDF of both experiments. So that is the experiments PDF file, the actual experiment that you need to read and print out and bring with you for experiment 2, and you're going to fill in. You also will find in this module here the experiment 3 PDF that we looked at a second ago. You will find here the assignment for the written pre-lab for experiment 2 and also experiment 3 in this particular week. When you click on the pre-lab assignment for the written pre-lab, it will also explain to you here, just like it explained, we explained and talked about in person. And also you can find the instructions on the actual syllabus, what you need to do. But essentially you need to do a minimum of 1 page typed out or handwritten of the experimental procedure and the equipment that you're going to be used for the experiment. It needs to be done in your own words. You should not lift the PDF files words. You should not copy those words word for word. You should rewrite it in your own words. It could be words, it could be a bullet point list, it could be a flow chart. It needs to be enough and enough detail that I clearly understand that you read the experiment and you know what is going on before you got there. Okay, so it's a little bit open in terms of how you want to do it, but it does need to have all those things in your own words, all the procedures for all the parts of the experiment, all the equipment, and again, in an organized fashion, how you want to do that. It's up to you. Flow chart, words, paragraph, bullet point list. And this is where you would obviously go to upload your file when it's ready. Remember, it needs to be a PDF file, a single PDF file. Also, as we talked about on all assignments, make sure that you do go back and double check that it did upload correctly. So that is the written pre-lab. Underneath it here in this module, you will find the online pre-lab. So when you click on the online pre-lab, there will be a link right here that you can click on, and it will take you to the Cengage site where you can do that. I'm not logged in right now, so it won't let me in there, but you would be logged in probably, or I'd be asked to log in. And it probably will know you just by clicking it. It will take you directly to the Cengage online homework, or actually online pre-lab, and you need to answer those questions. Again, those are going to be due, as you can see here, by 11:55. Remember that I did extend the Cengage pre-labs only for the second pre-lab, experiment 2 and experiment 3, to the end of the week. Normally speaking, the pre-lab assignments, both the written pre-lab and the online pre-lab, are due the night before lab day, which for us would be Tuesday night. Both of those are typically due for both experiments. So again, you can find both experiments here. Experiment 2's pre-lab, experiment 2's online pre-lab, experiment 2 submission. So when you're tomorrow during the lab period, when you're done with the experiment, you'll come back to this module, and this is where you will upload your completed lab report. This will contain basically the data tables. It will contain the post-lab questions and any calculations. Remember that I do not need all the introduction. I don't need the procedure. I really just need those pages, the data table page, the calculation page, and the post-lab questions, again, as a single PDF uploaded here. When you come to class with your printed experiment for these experiments, and also in general, I would recommend that you go through the post-lab questions and perhaps work on them before you come to class. A lot of times you should be able to answer a lot of these post-lab questions before you get to class. That would probably ensure that you will be able to complete your experiments during the lab day. So for both experiment 2 and experiment 3 and all future experiments, I would take a look at the post-lab questions, and if there's something that you can answer before you come to class, might as well knock them out before you come to class. It will allow you to complete hopefully everything a lot easier and not be so rushed perhaps. So again, we are doing both of these experiments, experiment 2 and experiment 3 tomorrow. We will start with experiment 2, and about halfway through we will stop, and then we will go and do experiment 3. And again, you do need a reliable way to upload the lab reports at school tomorrow, both experiment 3 submission and experiment 2 submission. Next week for week 3, same deal. This is experiments 4 PDF, the actual experiment that you need to print out, read to do your pre-lab, and also have printed to do the experiment with and go through the post-lab questions. Experiment 5, and once again, are written and our online pre-lab for next week's lab. As you can see here, it is actually due the night before, which is typically when the pre-labs will be due. And all through the entire rest of the chemistry season here, for each week, you will find both the lab PDF, the actual experiment, and the pre-labs in each of these week modules here, so you can find them. And again, you can also find the PDF files up on top. So I hope that will answer some of the questions that maybe you might have had in terms of what pre-labs you need to do. Again, if you're not sure, come to the lab module header here, read all this. This clearly explains all the pre-labs you need to have done and typically when they're due and where you can find them, and also the PDF. And once again, if you have not yet completed the lab safety videos module, you need to complete that before tomorrow. All right, I hope that helps. I'll see you tomorrow. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions.